continuing our work with linear equations, we are going to look at point-slope form in these notes today. So by the end of these notes, you should be able to write the equation of a line just given the slope and any point the line goes through. So point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this is made with the slope, which is m, as usual, and then a point that the line you're trying to write the equation for goes through, which is given as x1, y1. And so this equation, we plug those numbers in here, here, and here, and that will make our linear equation. Just a reminder, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and you can see that these equations are sort of similar, but not exactly the same. Okay, so let's practice using this. We're going to write our equations in point-slope form using the given information. So we're given a point and the slope of the line. We just need to fill out point-slope form. So plugging in those three values, this one gives us y minus 8. The y value from the point is 8, equals, our slope is -1, times, and then we have x minus -6, which turns into plus 6. So because we're subtracting, whatever sign the number has ends up getting flipped. So we had x minus -6, which turns into x plus 6 there. And that's it. That's our point-slope form equation. Let's move on here. Y minus -2 becomes plus 2 equals -7/8 times x minus 1. So it's y minus the y value, which is -2, equals the slope, which is m, times x minus the x value, which is 1. Example C. So we get y plus 5, again, minus -5 turns into plus 5, equals -1/2 for the slope, times x plus 4, same reason, minus -4 turns into plus 4. And there's our point-slope form there. Now in example D, it tells us the slope and the y-intercept, which if we were trying to write slope-intercept form, that would be very convenient. We would just be able to write it. But because we're practicing point-slope, the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 2 here. So we're going to be using these as our x and y values. So for the point-slope form, that is y minus 2 equals the slope, which is 5, times x minus 0. And I know normally we wouldn't need to write minus 0. We could just simplify it. For the purposes of these notes, to really show how point-slope form works, I'm going to leave it like that. So there you have the first section, writing point-slope form from a point and the slope. Now, the reason why this is useful is really to get to slope-intercept form, because that is the most convenient way to graph a line. And so if we only know a point and the slope, we can write it in point-slope form and then solve for y to get to slope-intercept form. So let's practice that. For example A, we'll have y minus 7 equals 3 times x plus 1. This is our point-slope form. And now we just solve for y. So distribute the 3. Y minus 7 equals 3x plus 3. Then we're going to add 3 to both sides, or add 7 to both sides. And so we end up with y equals 3x plus 10, and that is in slope-intercept form. So we write it in point-slope form, which is here, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and then solve for y and get our slope-intercept form here. Let's try that again. So point-slope form first, y minus -3 is plus 3 equals the slope, which is -1/3, times x minus the x value, which is 6. And now we just solve for y by distributing first. So y plus 3 equals -1/3 x. Now 1/3 of 6 is 2, so negative 1/3 times negative 6 is positive 2. Now we subtract 3 from both sides, and y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. And again, there is your slope-intercept form from point-slope form. Now, if we don't know the slope and we just have 2 points, we can still use this. So in these two examples, we'll be given 2 points, and we have to first find the slope and then use one of the 2 points, doesn't matter which one, to write point-slope form and then solve for y. So only adding one extra step here. So first we find the slope. Example A, we have 5, 1 and 8, negative 2. So the slope, we're going to do that by subtracting the y values and subtracting the x values and making a fraction using the slope formula. So our y values, let's go this way. So negative 2 minus 1 over 8 minus 5 is negative 3 over 3, which equals negative 1. So here's the slope. And we just have to choose one of these 2 points. Let's go ahead and use 5, 1. Just because they're both positive, it really doesn't matter which one you choose, whichever one you feel is easier. You will get the same slope-intercept form equation at the end. So now let's plug this in. We got y minus 1 equals negative 1, that's our slope, and then x minus 5. That's our point-slope form, and now we just solve for y. So y minus 1 equals negative x plus 5. And then finally add 1 to both sides here, and y equals negative x plus 6. And there's the slope-intercept form. So we started here by finding the slope, and then we used the slope and one of those points to write our point-slope form, just like we did above, and then solve for y to get our answer in slope-intercept form. And again, it doesn't matter which point you choose. If we had gone with 8, negative 2, we would still end up with y equals negative x plus 6. One more of these. So let's first find the slope. So let's go this way again. 10 minus 7 over 2 minus 3. So that's 3 over negative 1, which is just negative 3. So there's the slope. Let's go ahead and use 210. I just like that one better. No reason. You could do 37 as well. So here we have y minus 10 equals negative 3 times x minus 2. Right? Using the x value, the y value, and the slope to plug in those numbers. And now solve for y. So distribute the negative 3. Y minus 10 equals negative 3x plus 6, negative 3 times negative 2, plus 6. And finally, add 10 to both sides. So y equals negative 3x plus 16. So point-slope form is really useful for writing equations in slope-intercept form if we have information that's not just the slope and the intercept. So if we have the slope and a point, we can go point-slope form and solve for y. If we have 2 points, we can first find the slope and then go to point-slope form and then solve for y. In any of these cases, our final answer should be slope-intercept form.